throw down to second in time. Staten on the run, and he jams it home.
Nixon, the runner comes home, they got her.
What a tough shot, and a
There's McLemore.
Welcome to this week's Big 12 Report, presented as always by Dr. Pepper. I'm Wendell Barnhouse, Big12Sports.com correspondent, and this guy is the co-host, Carter Babb.
That's right, Wendell. Well, today we have a special story for you about the Oklahoma women's basketball team and how a pink ladder has brought team unity in a special bond like they never could have imagined.
At last year's Final Four, Oklahoma women's basketball coach Sherry Cole had the winning bid at an auction benefiting the Kay Yow Cancer Fund, and she became the owner of the ladder used to cut down the nets at the championship game. Now, Cole planned to use the ladder as a motivational tool for this year's team, but one of life's curveballs made the pink ladder even more symbolic to the team and the coaching staff.
Between the time that we asked the kids to develop their 6-word memoirs to put up on the ladder and their due date for doing that, Jan was diagnosed with breast cancer. As those things happen, when that diagnosis comes, everything goes into fast-forward motion.
When I first got the diagnosis and Sherry and I were busy, she was helping me get doctors and get everything all set up, and you kind of get in the middle of it and you forget about things that are important.
One thing sort of ran after another, and Jan and I, to be quite frank, completely forgot about the ladder.
At the time, we didn't know anything about our assistant coach, and it was almost like a sign that it was supposed to be for Coach Ross, and we all had to pick 6 words, to describe our life. We were sitting there thinking we needed something on the front of it, and we all just kind of played with words, and we realized it was perfect for the situation we had with Coach Ross.
One day when we were in the office having checked off all our list of things to do, I thought of the ladder, and I said, hey, you want to go downstairs and see what the team did with the ladder? And she said, absolutely. So we weren't even really expecting them to have finished it based on the rough week and the difficult meetings that we had been a part of. But we began to read their words on the sides, and then looked around at the front and saw on the steps that they had created their own team 6-word memoir, playing for our rock, Coach Ross.
And I saw that on there, it was a very special moment. More than anything, I wanted to show them that it can be done, because nowadays people think of cancer and you immediately think, it's an end, but it's not. And I wanted to prove to them, that it's just something else that you have to make it through, and that was kind of my motivation for a lot of it as well.
After everybody put their stuff on there, we're like, it still looks blank, and we want this to be for Coach Ross and not just, for our individual selves of what we struggle with and whatnot. And it was the perfect spot, perfect fit. So, it was just a sign that that's what needed to be there.
It's something you can always go back to. And we dedicated to Coach Ross because, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And also, the saying, the home away from home. And she's like our mother away from our mothers. So it's like our rock.
It has been just a really substantial piece of who we are as a group.
You have to keep fighting no matter what. That's what you learn from it all. You don't ever want to compare real life to this game that we play every day, but you definitely need to use the lessons that you learn.
What a story, to see a team really rally around their coach like that is just really something special.
Yeah, Carter, you make a good point about rallying around something like that. I think getting players to buy in to the team and to the hard work that's required, the dedication to be successful as a team, I think it's one of the main challenges a coach faces. And, the story of the Sooners and this ladder that's kind of their symbol for this season, I think is a great example of how Sherry Cole goes about connecting with her players. I think she's a great motivator.
That's right. I agree. All right, Wendell, let's talk about the basketball schedule this weekend. We got a full slate of games, including a few non-conference games here in the middle of the regular season. So why don't you tell us about some of the contests this weekend?
That's right, Carter. It's a little strange to have a couple of men's teams on Saturday are playing non-conference games. That's West Virginia and Baylor stepping out of conference play. And out of the 4 Big 12 games that are on tap, there's one that I've really got to have my eye on, and that's the game at the Octagon of Doom in Manhattan when Oklahoma plays at Kansas State. These are 2 teams that are kind of chasing Kansas in the standings, and both of these teams have road victories at West Virginia, so they've got a little similarity there. Now the Sooners, they've got great chemistry on this team right now. They might not have any players that are going to be first-team all Big 12 players, but they've got a roster full of really good players. And the Wildcats are ranked number 16. They're 2-0 in the Big 12 for just the second time in their history. Now, in women's action this weekend, West Virginia, which started 0-2 in conference play, has now won 3 in a row, and they'll be playing at Baylor Saturday night. I think that's going to be a really tough challenge for the Lady Bears. And on Sunday, Iowa State's going to visit Oklahoma State in a meeting of 2 ranked teams. Now, the Cyclones and Oklahoma are both 4-1 in the standings, tied for second place behind Baylor. That's because number 24 Iowa State beat the 16th ranked Sooners 82-61 Tuesday night in Ames.
That's right. Okay, Wendell, I don't know about you, but I could go for a few of the weekly world famous shout-outs to wrap things up this week. I actually can't think of anything I'd rather do. So why don't you give us a little taste of the shout-outs this week?
Well, Carter, you know, if there's one thing I cannot do is deny you your shout-outs. So
That's right.
You and everyone else get ready, because here they come.
All right.
All right, now the big news out of Kansas is not about Jayhawks basketball. The school's athletic department announced this week that they're about to start construction on a new state-of-the-art track and field, soccer and softball facilities. The plan is for the track and field facility to be ready for the Kansas Relays in 2014. Now, building a new track stadium will also allow the removing of the track that surrounds the football field at Memorial Stadium, and that will allow for a more intimate seating atmosphere there in Lawrence. Now, speaking of Kansas, second shout out involves congratulations to Kansas coach Bill Self. It was announced this week that he will be one of the 7 inductees into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. Now, Self is a native Oklahoman, and he played basketball at Oklahoma State. Now, I don't think that this video we're going to see really has anything to do with his players celebrating their coach becoming a Hall of Famer, but some of Self's players, with freshman Ben McLemore, the lead dancer, were filmed after a game recently, and they've been showing off their dance moves in this video that has gone viral. And the last shout out, you know, if you follow collegiate wrestling, you know that Oklahoma State and Iowa are the top 2 programs and 2 of the top rivals in the history of the sport. The 2 schools have combined for 57 NCAA wrestling titles. Oklahoma State has 34 of those. Now, the teams staged another classic Sunday in Stillwater. The 3rd-ranked Hawkeyes got off to a 12-3 lead before the 2nd-ranked Cowboys won the last 5 matches to take an 18-12 victory there in Gallagher-Iba Arena.
That's right, it's a big win. Well, that'll do it for another spectacular edition of the Big 12 Report. As always, be sure to check out our website at big12sports.com and follow us on Twitter at Big 12 Conference for all the latest news from around the league. We'll see you next week. That's not lame or anything.
I'm going to get you right now.
Smoker's car. It's like turning right. Let's get the shout outs.
We're filmed after a game showing off their dance moves, and this video has gone viral. And can I do that whole thing again? Son of let's do it.
Unfiltered ball.
Got time for a cigarette break.
As always, for all things Big 12, be sure to check out our website. Be sure.
He just likes us looking at each other, apparently.
That's right.